You've tuned into Better in Business with Jeannie. As an award-winning strategic bookkeeper and business veteran, I am dedicated to helping entrepreneurs learn, grow, and prosper. This podcast aims to challenge your thinking. If you're not thinking the right way, how can you act the right way? Each episode will dive into key drivers of success, which I also call the rules of the game. Learn the rules, play to win. Let's go. Hello and welcome. Today we are going to explore a powerful 10-pillar framework for starting up or doing better in an existing business. This is a chance to learn 10 rules of the game, 10 moving parts we all need to nail to thrive rather than simply survive. And we'll wrap it up with some great free resources. For more information on this episode or how to work with me, check out the show notes or visit betterinbusiness.global. I like to start every episode by reminding you that it is globally recognized that Pillar 1 for the success of any business is up-to-date, accurate bookkeeping. If your books are not right up to date, tune into episode 1, please. You can also get in touch with me if you'd like some help. Today's guest is Sarah Stowe. Sarah is simply awesome. Why? Because she's been there, done that. Specifically, she has 10 startups under her belt, and now she helps other startups and existing businesses to work smarter rather than just harder, starting with her powerful 10-step framework. Sarah is an award winner, a keynote speaker, a podcast host, and a proud mum. She has so much to share to help all of us do better in business. So let's get into it. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, Jeannie. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And first of all, massive congratulations on the new podcast.
Thank you so much. It is very, very exciting. I'm so passionate about helping entrepreneurs just simply do better in business. And part of that is I really want to challenge their thinking. I tend to think to myself, I want to challenge what you think you know. If what you think you know isn't quite right, you can have those aha moments and be redirected. You know, you're going down a road and you may not know that you're taking the wrong route. I think if we can open ourselves and listen, then it's like seeing a signpost that says wrong way, and it just shifts you in the right direction, the direction of success. I see it a lot. So thank you so much.
No worries.
Okay, so I'd love to start by asking you a question and asking you to share something with us. So I would just love to know about your 10-step framework. So this is in your own words. So it's to go from idea stage to launching a business, all on a shoestring budget, which I love, to have everything in place, to be successful. And I'd love you to just explain to the audience why, even though I've just said this is about starting a business, this is about businesses who have been operating for a while too, because often what we need to do is go back to the start and just fill in the gaps and the things we missed, a bit like we've created a jigsaw puzzle and we're 3 years in and we've missed pieces of the puzzle. So if you would share that, that would be amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's a really important thing there is when you start out in business, sometimes you're not really sure what you're doing. So you start this beast of a business and you get busy and you start bringing in sales and you're doing everything that you think's right. And you get that business to a nice point where you're comfortable, and people just expect, because this business might be 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years old, that you know everything. And, you know, none of us do. And then when we are expected to know everything, we don't feel like we can ask. And that's completely not the way to think about it. So this framework is what I use to help people set up new businesses in my Launch Your Biz Now course. But it is something that any business owner can come and have a look at and see maybe where they've got a gap in what they're doing or continue to improve. So you do this framework when you are setting up a business, but as the business develops and grows, it changes and it's ever changing. So you want to be able to go back, you know, once every 6 months or every year and just look at all these things inside your business and see whether it's actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. Have you got it still in place? Can you improve it? Can you make the business more effective? Can you scale it? And so on and so forth. So A little quick bit of history. So for me, I'm up to my 10th business now. So I am a serial entrepreneur. I just love the business process. And what I noticed, so I've got a bit of a professional background in the finance space, but I've set up in businesses in all different areas. Like, you know, you name it, I've had a crack and I just love it. But I realized I love that startup process. So I love the hustle and the fun of it and getting everything in place and getting these businesses up and running. And then I sort of got a bit bored once they're actually going. And when I realized that, I went, oh, actually, there's a framework that I'm following when I'm doing this. And with each business that I'd been doing, I'd been developing this framework and, you know, creating a way that I was doing it. And I realized if I was doing this for my businesses, then there's a whole lot of other business owners out there that would be able to use this framework and get benefit from it too. So let's jump into the framework. So this is what I call the 10 foundational pillars of a successful business. So every business needs to have these in place to run a successful business and get to that dream stage that we want to in business, where it's gone from that startup stage, or, you know, that business that's really dependent on you and your time and you're trading your time for money, to getting that to that nice point that we all aspire to, which is that lifestyle stage in business where, you know, all the systems and the processes are set up, it looks after itself, and you can start to enjoy the fruits of your labor and have that freedom, which is what we all go into business in the first place to have. So let's jump in. So the first pillar or foundational pillar that we want to do when we are setting up a business is testing that business idea and making sure that it's actually got legs, especially before we do go in and invest all of this money into it. So this is about making sure that people actually want to buy what you're going to sell. And this might be something that you do as a starter business, or if you're looking to add in different services into an established business, you would do this process there too. So you go through and you make sure that it's actually something that people want. And to do that as well, and a big thing in this foundational pillar is understanding who it is that you're talking to. So if you're going out and asking the wrong person whether they want what you're going to sell, they're going to say no. And you've got some warped feedback that you aren't going to be able to move forward with. So you need to have a really clear idea about who it is you're talking to, what messaging they need to receive from you to be ready to buy, and really, really understand who you are and who they are and how that works together, and then go out and test the business idea. So that would be foundational pillar number 1. Foundational pillar number 2 is the basics of a startup. So, you know, this is the thing that most people normally get. So we know that we've got to have an ABN, we've got to be an entity, so that might be a sole trader, a partnership, a company, a trust, or however that looks. We go to our accountant, we set it up ourselves, and we're off and running. So that's all good and well, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong, or it can hold you back in the future with business if you don't have this set up right. So it would be reviewing those basics of your startup, reviewing the basics of your business, making sure that your entity's right, making sure you have the right legal protection, the right insurances, the right legal documents, and making sure that you know what your pitch is. So who you are, what you're selling, what you're doing and delivering, and having a really clear hold on that. So that's foundational pillar number 2. Then we have number 3, which is your branding. So this is Build Your Brand in the Launch Your Biz Now course. And this is about, I don't know if you guys have ever seen when people have their Facebook profiles or their Instagram or whatever it is, and they're just putting out pictures and they're all different. So you're never not looking at it going, oh yeah, like I recognize that that's that brand because of their colors or their fonts or whatever they're doing. It's about setting that up for your business. So you've got this brand board and this brand template that all of your marketing and everything that you're putting out into the world looks and feels like you and represents who you are as a business and who you're talking to. So that would be the next thing that you'd have set up. And a big thing that I'm a big fan of is DIYing as much of this as possible, especially on this side of the branding thing when you're getting set up. And you know, once you get established and you're bringing in the big bucks, absolutely go invest heaps of money in setting it up. But if you're spending a few $1,000s on a logo or website or, you know, all these things, that just sets you back further before you're actually getting profit into the business, which we want to make some money. Then we've got module 4, which is your marketing plan. So I think this is one of the key areas that I think is important because I have a young family, which we're talking about just before we recorded, with Jeannie, because she understands this too. So I've got two young kids and I don't have a whole lot of time. So everything that I do needs to be done with a purpose in mind. So the idea of just going out and having a Facebook or Instagram or, Twitter or whatever it is and just posting content for the sake of posting content just can't work for me. Like, I don't have the time to waste on that. So you've got to have a strategy behind your marketing. You've got to know why you are putting it out into the world. You need to know what results that you're going to get for it. And you need to know how that flows into the rest of your business. So then once you've got your marketing strategy and you know how you're going to find new leads and how you're going to nurture people to be ready to buy, what happens when they do buy? So that's what we cover off in the sales strategy. So we go through that sales funnel and what that customer journey looks like. How do we get them to go from point A to point B, buying whatever your ideal product is or the most profitable products? How does that look? How can they continue to work with you? Because the easiest customer to get is somebody that's already bought. So are we offering different services to keep them in the web? Everything along that side of things is covered in that module. And then, of course, we want to understand the metrics behind that because we want to measure everything that we're doing in business. So we want to understand how many people we need to have come through our lead generating system. So whatever our marketing is, how many people do we need to have find you that then goes through this funnel and converts into paying customers? And what does that look like? Because once we understand each of those metrics and each of those points that you're hitting on that journey, then you know what you can do to improve each of those points. So you might look at it and go, all right, well, if I need to make this amount of sales, so I want to make, $500,000 of revenue, which might give me $150,000 in profit or whatever it might be, how do I then do that? And you can really, really easily work back from that and go, all right, well, if I invest this much into my marketing, which is going to give me this many leads, that's the results I'm getting out of that. So you can have that really clear understanding of how each of the different aspects of your business work with each other to give you some awesome results. So that's the sales strategy. Then it's know your numbers. And this is probably where we started touching on then, but it's without understanding your money and knowing where your money's going, what it's using, how it works, you will not be able to control your business. It's controlling you. It'll just, you're on the reactive and you're just bringing in money and hoping to pay the bills. When you have a clear understanding of how to look at your figures, how to understand how each part of your business relates to each of them. So, you might have your fixed costs, which is a certain percentage. You might have your variable costs, which is a certain percentage, and your variable costs should be linked to the sales that you bring in. So, maybe for every dollar, you have 30 cents of that dollar, which is on variable costs. And then you can start tweaking with that and understanding that. Then you have obviously your profit and your income and all these different areas. So when you understand each of them and understand their place in your business, then you can tweak them. You have control of it. So all of this stuff is just about giving you control. So by understanding what you need to look at, like I know, and as your background, Jeannie, you'll know this as well, and you will help people through this. But a lot of people just look at their profit and loss each month because that's what their accountant told them to do, and they have no bloody idea what they're looking at. So they're going, yeah, cool,
blink, and they nod, and they think, sure, the emperor has not closed, but I'm going to pretend he has closed.
Exactly. They might look and go, oh, there's profit. Oh, how did that happen? No idea. Having somebody that can walk you through that, like you, Jeannie, is so powerful for a business owner. And it's just that basic financial knowledge is what you just need to have. You need to know how all of this works so you can build your business. So that is just going to underpin everything. It doesn't matter what else we do in business. Without good, solid financial knowledge, it's just so hard. So that's the know your numbers. Then the building your business.
Which was that number 6?
That's number 6, yeah.
6, yes, because number 5 was metrics, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's your sales strategy. So
sales strategy. Okay, so we had marketing, then sales strategy. I am keenly making notes. So 6 is know your numbers, yep. And 7?
7 is building your business. So this is all about, all right, we've got all these things in place. Now, how do we improve them? And we don't know what we can improve without, and you're probably picking up a trend here, without knowing what you're doing, you don't know what you can improve, yeah? So this is about your processes and the systems that you have in your business. And it's getting those systems down, understanding those systems, looking at these systems, and seeing if you can make them work more effectively. So I have 4 systems every business should be all over. So it's your marketing system, so how you're finding new customers. It's your sales system. So once people have found you, how are they buying? It's your back-end system, so all your processes and everything that happens in the background of your business. And then what else have I got? Sales, marketing, back-end. Oh, and of course, the most important system, your product system. So how are you actually delivering whatever it is that you're delivering? What does that system and process look like? You know, looking at different people in your businesses or in the business world that you can work with, it's a pain in the butt. So there's 4 systems that every business owner should have set up in their business. So it's the marketing system, which we've talked about. So how people are finding your business and how you're nurturing them to be ready to buy. It's your sales system. Once they are in your marketing world, how do you get them through to purchasing your products? It is your back-end system, your operations. What is happening in the background of your business? What is all the stuff that happens to make your business just operate and churn? Like, you know, how do you do what you do? It's stuff that needs to happen that isn't related to your customer or your sales. So, you know, your bookkeeping is a great example of that, or your accounting, all that sort of stuff. And then you've got your most important one, which is the product system, which is about how you deliver whatever it is that you deliver in your business. So making sure that's a really great experience. So once you've got those 4 systems mapped out, then you just want to review each of those systems and look at ways you can find efficiencies in them and improve these systems to build your business up. You're not going to be able to scale your business without having a solid hold of these systems. So that's building your business. Then pillar 8 is collaborate and partner. So, you know, it's a very lonely world when you are a business owner just doing things by yourself. And why would you, when there's all these awesome people out there in the world that you can partner with and collaborate with and support each other? So look to those people, like, you know, doing this podcast interview together, this is a collaboration. So we want to support each other and try and lift each other up. And it's so much more powerful to try and do these things with other people than it is to do them by yourself. So look around in your industry, look around in different industries and see how you can leverage not only your business, because it has to be win-win for everyone, but also leverage somebody else's business. So you've got access to each other's networks and you know, knowledge or whatever it might be, and really lean on each other, because we are all out here trying to do our best, and it's great to have people to do that with. So that's collaborating partnerships. Then we've got planning for scale. So this is once we've got all of this stuff in place, we understand our systems, we understand our numbers, and how are we going to get this business to that illustrious point that we're all striving for, which is that beautiful lifestyle business stage. And if you're already there, that's awesome and well done. For the rest of us that are kicking along trying to get to this point where we are earning great money, we're living the lifestyle that we want to live, we are able to step away from our business and, you know, do what we want to do and get that freedom and that, you know, that reward that we were hoping to in our business. So this is about setting in place a plan of how you're going to get that. Once you understand all your numbers and understand how your business actually works, then you can do things where you're working towards that, and you can put in place a couple of year goal or whatever it might be for your business based on your figures to get you to that point. So it's having a plan. And I know that a lot of people have plans and they're like, yeah, I have a plan of what I want to do, but it's having a plan that's actually based on facts and figures. So it's a lot more achievable. It's a lot more measurable than just going, yeah, I'm going to get my business to, you know, $1 million turnover. Great. What does that actually mean? Are you making a great profit for that? How does that look? Is that actually giving you what you want from your business? $1 million or whatever the figure is doesn't actually mean much if you don't know what's sitting behind that choice. So that's that module. And then, of course, the last one that we have in my framework that I do in the Launch Your Biz Now course when I help students to set up new businesses is a successful launch. Of course, if you've already got a business set up, this might not be one that's so applicable to you, but I think we always try to play it small maybe when we are setting up businesses and we don't have a launch strategy in place and a way to really leverage this and just get this business out there to give it the best shot. We know that 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. So, God, if there's an opportunity that we can do when we're starting up that's just going to get you out there and just make your life a little bit better, we should do it. Yeah. So that's all about planning towards that and really getting some momentum happening at the start of your business. So you are not going to be one of those facts that, or percentages on the bad side of business. So it can be good.
Amazing. Okay. So that is your 10 and I can relate to all of them. And I think for our listeners, just to think over those 10. And as I said, if you're already in business, this is about where are the opportunities. So, I was working with a business not long ago and they've been operating 16 years and they're in real trouble. And, in a similar way, they've been around for ages. They've had some glory days and now they're struggling and, the 4 million turnover, but no profit on the bottom line. And interestingly with them, like if we look at those 10, testing, basics, brand, marketing, sales, know your numbers, build your business, collaborate and partners, plan for scale and launch. So what I would say is think about where you feel like you're struggling. And sometimes you don't really know what you don't know. If you haven't mined the data, if you're not a data-driven organization, which is what this is about too, as you said, Sarah, a few times, if we don't know our business and our numbers, then we're not really going to understand where the opportunities are in the pain. But for this business, for example, we focused on the numbers really solidly and just through a real attention to job costing and the critical drivers of profit around job costing, we were able to take them from a zero profit or a loss before that to $80,000 and that was in 6 months.
Yeah. I bet that they were looking at this going, how did you even find that? Like, I bet they still just were blown away.
Yeah. They tell this story that every day I was on the phone saying job costing. But a bit like you said, what we did is it took us a while to get things in order, but after a couple of months, we did that plan based on the facts and figures. And then it was like, well, the facts are naked. Like we can all see everything now. We know what to do. It's the resolve and the mindset to do it. In that case, they actually had to stop doing a whole lot of work. So I had to get them to say no to jobs that were causing them grief.
And isn't that the truth? Like I think, especially when things are going tough in business, you're more likely then to start picking up these jobs that aren't right for you. So it's not dealing with your ideal client and it's not doing your profitable work. Whereas what we should be doing at that point, which is a really, really hard thing to do in your mind, is be saying no to them and dialing down on the stuff that is going to give us the results.
Yes, 100%. And that's why I think diagnosing problems is so important. And I think if we look at all of those, to me, when you look at all those 10 pillars, the way I think of it, and I want to tell everyone that successful business owners are educating themselves. Yeah. They're not just out there doing stuff and hoping for the best. They are learning. They are redirecting themselves. They are applying what they learn. And in each one of these pillars, there exists an opportunity to do what I call squeeze more juice out of the orange. You know what I mean? So if we improve our marketing systems, we're going to squeeze more juice out of the orange. I love when you talked about the existing customer because I think of it like we've got hunters and farmers in terms of the way we approach sales. And it's really easy to get into the hunter mentality where we're looking for a new customer. But what about the existing customers? Could we be serving them better? And I work with a lot of my clients around just saying, come on, are you keeping in touch with them? And when they do, they say, oh, Jeannie, I took your advice and I reached out to all my clients to see if, for example, they needed their air conditioner service and did, and they needed our help. And then they needed air conditioner.
And then they become champions of the business too. So then once you've got them to that point where they've used you and used you and used you, they're going to be out there telling everyone else about you. So they're going to do your new business or new lead acquisition strategy for you even better.
And I think what I really resonated with you talking about, well, in my own words, not wanting to be a slave to social media.
We've all been there.
I love social media to stalk my friends and see what's happening. And I'm a Latin dancer, so I use it for Latin dancing. Cool. But when it comes to business, want to be a slave to social media. I certainly don't want to be, I guess, a whole advertising thing. You know what I want to do? I want to help people self-assess their need for my help. And I think social media can be a good vehicle. But yes, if you're listening, advertising doesn't have to be a slave to social media. No. So I guess the very last thing I would like to ask you is just if this is resonating with people, how would they get in touch with you? But also, how would they get a little taste of how you work, or what's the best way to get to know you more?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're listening to this, you're obviously a podcast listener. So I host the Launch Your Biz Now podcast, which is the podcast for all new and aspiring business owners. So jump over and have a listen to the podcast. I would love to have you there. And a good way to get a little taste of what we've been talking about here is to go download a copy of my New Biz Toolkit. So this is a toolkit which will help new business owners, or if you it still is applicable if you're in business right now and going, yep, I've got this business, but I'm feeling like this machine is just rolling over me and I'm not getting what I want out of it. This might be something good for you to go back and do as well, because it'll start to make you really consider why you're in business, what you're doing, and, maybe shifting the business and the business focus. So you can start getting the benefit of this business of yours. So yeah, go jump over, download a copy of the New Biz Toolkit. I will give the link to Jeannie so we have it in the show notes, I am sure. And yeah, download a copy of that, walk through what it is that you're wanting to do, how your business is going to look, and really clarifying this business idea to really get clear on what it is that you're going to offer in your business and how you're going to do it. So that toolkit will help you do that. And yeah, then we've got plenty of different ways we can work together from there. We've got the Launch Your Biz Now course, which helps people set up a business, which is what this framework is based on and what I cover off in the course. But yeah, and heaps of other wonderful free content if they want to jump over to the website, which I'm sure will be in the notes as well.
Amazing. So now is the time to invest in your business, and listening to this podcast is an investment. But what I want to, finish with for the listeners is what you've learned today, even understanding those 10 frameworks, right? So, the 10 of the moving parts in your business. This has the power to help you do better in business. All right. If you don't know your numbers, for example, you need to know your numbers. You need to take action, and don't worry if it's not planned action. Just take a step in the direction of success. So whether that is downloading the New Business Toolkit, whether that is getting in touch with me and saying, you know what, Jeannie, I'm in trouble. Just try and take some action. You've got some knowledge today. How will you redirect it? Take a little bit of action to do better in business. So Sarah, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your amazing thought leadership and your content. Thanks for tuning in. For more information on this episode or how to work with me, check out the show notes. If you'd like to know how I can help you do better in business, you know where to find me, betterinbusiness.global. See you in the next episode.